আজকে যে অঙ্কটা নিয়ে আলোচনা করব সেটা বেসিক্যালি midpoint theorem of triangles এর একটা অ্যাপ্লিকেশন. The problem is in the adjoining figure, this is the adjoining figure, AD and BE are medians of triangle ABC. And it is also given that DF is parallel to BE. We have to show CF equals to 1/4 of AC. For solving this problem, first of all, we have to consider the statements of midpoint theorem and converse of midpoint theorem. Let's recall those statements. The first one, the midpoint theorem, tells us that if in triangle ABC, D and E are the midpoints of two sides AB and AC respectively, then the line segment joining D and F, here F and D are the midpoints of AC and AB respectively, so the line segment joining D and F must be parallel to and half of BC. That is, DF is parallel to BC and DF is half of BC. So here we get, in triangle ABC, if D and F are the midpoints of AB and AC respectively, then DF will be parallel to BC and DF will be half of BC. On the contrary, in the converse of midpoint theorem, we get if in triangle ABC, D is the midpoint of AB, and if a straight line parallel to BC is drawn which cuts AC at E, then E will be the midpoint of AC and DE will be equal to half of BC. So these two statements must be remembered for solving this problem. Here in the adjoining figure, we get ABC is the triangle, AD is the median of triangle ABC, as well as BE is the median of the same triangle. It is also given that BE is parallel to DF. So let's first write down those given conditions. So here AD and BE are the medians. Always consider the given conditions properly, because by considering them again and again, the entire concept, the actual feature of the problem will be clear to you. Okay, so here we get AD and BE are the medians of triangle ABC, and DF is parallel to BE. These two things are given to us. Required to show CF equals to 1/4 of AC. CF equals to 1/4 of the entire length of AC. Now look, here AD and BE are medians. Okay, so we get D is the midpoint of BC. At the same time, E is the midpoint of AC, right? Because we know median means the line segment joining any vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. So D and E are the midpoints of BC and AC respectively. So here D is the midpoint of BC and E is the midpoint of AC, right? As they are the medians. Now look, DF parallel to BE. Therefore, here we get DF parallel to BE. D is the midpoint of BC, right? So we can say F is the midpoint of EC in triangle ABC, isn't it? By what? By this converse of midpoint theorem. Got it? So here we get in triangle EBC, D is the midpoint of BC. Here we get this, and DF parallel to BE by given condition. So by converse of midpoint theorem, we can conclude that F is the midpoint of EC. So F is the midpoint of EC. We can write it by converse of midpoint theorem, right? You have to state over here. By which rule you can say this, you must state this. So F is the midpoint of EC. So from that, can't we say, as in this figure, F is the midpoint of EC, can't we say that CF equals to half of EC? Let's make it as number 1. CF equals to half of EC, because F is the midpoint of EC, already proved. Okay. Now, we can see that BE is the median. So, E is already the midpoint of AC, right? So, since BE is the median, so E is the midpoint of, as you know, it's quite normal, quite clear, obviously, E is the midpoint of AC. So we can say EC equal to, E is the midpoint, right? So these two parts are equal in measurement. So EC equals to half of AC. So let's write it. So EC equals to half of AC. Okay. Now look, CF was equal to half of EC and EC was equals to half of AC. Let's make it as equation number 2. I repeat, we have already got CF equals to half of EC and EC equals to half of AC. So from 1 and 2, we get, in the place of EC, we can write half of AC, isn't it? CF equals to half into, just in the place of EC, we will write half of AC. Because we want to get the relation between CF and AC only. This is equals to 1/4 of AC. So CF equals to 1/4 of AC. That was to be proved. We had to show this actually. That was to be proved. CF equals to 1/4 of AC. Hope the entire illustration is clear to you.